Federica Mogherini as EU Foreign Policy Chief and Poland's Donald Tusk as European Council President. Mogherini, a centre-left politician, is Italy's Foreign Minister. She'll replace the UK's Catherine Ashton. Mr Tusk, Poland's centre-right Prime Minister, has been Polish leader since 2007. He will chair EU summits. Joining us to talk about this is Nina Schick, who is Open Europe, or with Open Europe, and is around the desk at the moment. Nina, the events over the weekend, front page news here in the UK, as we looked at these appointments and tried to work out exactly what it meant for European politics. Tusk, I love the fact that his wife persuaded him to go for this job because of the prestige, better money, less problems at work. I'm not sure what she was reading with the less problems at work, but what do you think Tusk's appointment will mean for Europe?
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, he's economically liberal and pro-free trade, and one of the most interesting things is that he obviously comes from a country that's not in the euro. And immediately after his appointment in his press conference, he said that he wouldn't have accepted the position if it were to lead to further institutional divide in Europe. So for the UK especially, that's an important announcement, because that whole trend towards non-Eurozone countries, caucusing non-Eurozone countries, is something that he's going to try and avoid. It's also interesting because he will indeed also chair the summit of Eurozone countries. Now, that's something that the French Premier is said to have been against, but he seems to have ceded ground there in the hope that his former finance minister Moscovici will get a key economic portfolio in the next commission.
This is the one that puzzles me, and Bob, it may puzzle you, because the French are the ones that again stepping away from budget deficit targets, and Moscovici, the one who's presided over this, about to get the plum job in Europe. Doesn't that send a negative message about attention to detail and the discipline that exists in Europe?
Indeed, and I mean, the news in Berlin until today was that they were very much opposed to this. However, when it comes to Europe and indeed these EU top jobs, it's all about compromise. So they've said that Berlin would be willing to cede Moscovici the post if he has a northern fiscal hawk as his deputy, and the name being bandied about now is the former Finnish Prime Minister Jyrki Katainen.
I think all of that actually is fairly logical, and so one can get lost in the horse trading of who gets what job in the European Union. But just coming back to Tusk, no, his track record as a politician in Poland actually is very impressive, against actually quite a difficult political background in Poland. I'd be interested in your view of how difficult is this job, because in a way you've got the title, but have you got the power?
It's a very important role, and he will have significant.
But does he have the ability to do it?
Yes, well, he will have significant power, because the EU Council President, of course, as you know, oversees all those meetings where they take important decisions, debate, but take important decisions on everything from the budget to EU treaty change. And particularly for the UK, that's a primary position. That's why it's interesting to see that Cameron came out in favour of Tusk last week, even though they've clashed heads on the question of EU free movement.
Let's hope he is effective, Bob. 60,000 euros is what he was earning as the Prime Minister, now 300,000 a year, so quite a big increase. He gets a personal motorcade of 5 limousines as well. The part that captured my attention yesterday as a business anchor was the fact that there might be a position for the UK after many people feeling as they were left out in the cold here. There were calls for a referendum, growing support for UKIP. We hear over the weekend that Lord Hill might become the financial czar, effectively protecting the City of London in Brussels. This is a good turn of events if he's appointed in that position, isn't it?
Indeed, it's a great turn of events, and again, Tusk's appointment makes that seem more likely. However, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But of course, given the battle that happened here in the UK after Juncker was appointed Commission President, it would be seen as a saving grace if Lord Hill were to get a key economic portfolio in the next Commission.
We'll wait for that announcement. Thank you very much for joining us. Nina Schick with us, analyst at Open Europe.